Jai Shri Radhe. So Vaishnav Jai Shri Krishna. Day number 202. Varta number 193. So Vaishnav Jai Shri Krishna. Part 1. One day a thug came to their house disguised as a Vaishnava. The Brahmin Vaishnava welcomed him most warmly into his home. The thief was looking out all the time for a chance to steal, but he did not find one. The Brahmin had a son of 1.5 years and used to adorn him with many precious ornaments. One day, on Gwalior Ekadashi, the thief decided that his chance had come. He addressed the Brahmin's wife, saying that he would like to play with her son. She was happy to let him do so. The thug took the boy out into the backyard of the house and killed him. He took off all the boy's jewellery, dug a grave, buried the boy, and was setting off when, through fate's arrangement, Deva Yoga, he met the Brahmin. The Brahmin asked him, "Why are you leaving without partaking of prasad? The Lord is just now eating his lunch. Please do not let us be so unfortunate that you are leaving without eating." The thug insisted on leaving, but the Brahmin said, "No, Vaishnava, you must not leave our house hungry." He took the thief back to his house. He asked his wife if the Seva was complete, and she said that Sri Thakurji was still having his lunch. She asked the thug, "Where is my son?" He said, "Oh, he must have fallen asleep here somewhere." The couple looked everywhere but could not find him. The Brahmin saw that the backyard looked as if some digging had been done. When he searched that patch of ground, he found the dead boy buried there. He said, "Get up and greet this Vaishnava. Say Jai Shri Krishna." The boy got up and greeted the thug with the Lord's name. The thug began to tremble. He addressed the Brahmin, "O Vaishnava, your devotional practice is so perfect and true." He took out all the ornaments, placed them before the couple, and begged to be allowed to become a Vaishnava. The Brahmin replied that only Sri Gosaiji could make him into a Vaishnava. The thug asked the Brahmin to write a letter to introduce him to Sri Gosaiji on his behalf. The Brahmin did so, and the thug went to Sri Gosaiji in Gokul, where he begged him to accept him as a disciple. Sri Gosaiji spoke, "But you are a thug." The thug swore that he would never again do such heinous acts. Sri Gosaiji asked him how he would earn a living and replied that he would do any kind of respectable work. He again pleaded to be initiated with the Lord's name. It was in this way that the thug became a Vaishnava through the Brahmin Vaishnavas Association. Bhav Prakash. The moral of this story is that even if someone has only dressed up pretending to be a Vaishnava and comes to one's house, one should still honour them. It does not matter how fallen and sinful an embodied soul may be, their life's purpose can still be fulfilled through a Vaishnava's association. Thus concludes Varta 193, the story of the Gujarati Brahmin Vaishnava who was the recipient of Sri Gosaiji's great grace and a very accomplished Vaishnava. There is no end to his story. Continuing with Varta 194, the story of Gopal Das from Baranagar. Bhav Prakash. This is a devotee of Rajasi disposition. In the eternal Leela, his name is Baladevi, who manifests from Uma Shankar and is thus a personification of his divine loving sentiment. Once Sri Gosaiji had arrived in Baranagar. Gopal Das requested him to accept him as his disciple. Sri Gosaiji granted Gopal Das's initiation with the Lord's name and Brahma Sambandh. Gopal Das humbly requested Sri Gosaiji to grant him one Sri Thakurji to serve, and he did so. He advised Gopal Das to perform loving seva to his Sri Thakurji, then he left to go to Dwarkaji before returning to Gokul. Part 2. One day, a party of Vaishnavas was travelling from Gujarat to Gokul in order to see Sri Gosaiji. Gopal Das was among them. They arrived in Gokul and had the holy sight of Sri Navneet Priyaji. Then they had audience with Sri Gosaiji. Sri Gosaiji invited them all to partake of prasad, Mahaprasad there itself. All the Vaishnavas agreed, but Gopal Das asked to be excused until later after he had bathed, etc. Sri Gosaiji agreed and went to partake of prasad. When his meal was over, he offered Mahaprasad to all the Vaishnavas. He took a short nap. Just as he awoke, Gopal Das arrived. Sri Gosaiji said, "Oh, have you not taken prasad yet?" Gopal Das said he had a strong desire to eat Sri Gosaiji's prasadi leftovers. Sri Gosaiji gave him a plate as requested. When Gopal Das sat to partake, he kept on eating, but the prasad did not diminish. Sri Gosaiji came there and asked him, "How are you getting on?" Gopal Das replied that he would not leave that plate of prasad until it was all finished. Sri Gosaiji cast his grace-filled eyes over the plate and the amounts balanced out. He asked Gopal Das, "Has your heart's desire been fulfilled?" Gopal Das replied, "Oh yes, only you are capable of such blessings," taking Sri Gosaiji's permission. Gopal Das then went to have the holy sight of Srinathji and then set off on a tour of Vraj. He returned to Gokul and then took leave of Sri Gosaiji to go back home with the Vaishnava group. This story reveals the divine form of Mahaprasad. Mahaprasad never diminishes nor finishes. One should never regard Mahaprasad to be of this material world. Thus concludes Varta 194, the story of Gopal Das from Barnagar, who received Sri Gosaiji's great grace and was an accomplished Vaishnava. There is no end to his story. Continuing on from here with Varta 195, the story of a mother and daughter from Rajnagar. These two are devotees of Sattvic disposition. In the eternal Leela, their names are Sushumna and Ratikrida, the daughter. Both of them manifest from Umashankar and are thus personifications of his divine loving mood. Part 1. Once Sri Gosaiji was staying at Bhaila Kotari's house in Rajnagar. All the ladies of that village used to come there to see him. Amongst them were this mother and daughter. Sri Gosaiji spoke to the mother. "Your daughter is most blessed." The old mother replied, "O Maharaj, she is blessed by your saying so." Sri Gosaiji initiated them both with the Lord's name, and then the next day with Brahma Sambandh. He advised them both to serve the Lord in their own home. They said, "O Maharaj, we own nothing with which to make seva." Sri Gosaiji said, "Do you cook breads and lentils every day?" They replied that they did. Sri Gosaiji said, "Then you should cook those and offer them to the Lord." They asked, "But what should we offer for Sri Thakurji's breakfast and afternoon snack?" Sri Gosaiji asked them whether they had any millet at home, and they said that they did. "Oh, then soak a couple of handfuls of millet every day and offer it to Sri Thakurji in the morning and afternoon, and put some in a snack box for him." They asked, "Where should we get cloth to dress him in?" He asked them whether they wore saris, and they said that they did. He advised, "From any new sari that you have, cut off the first half meter and sew that for the Lord to wear." They said, "O Maharaj, this is great advice. Please now grant us one Sri Thakurji whom we can serve." He did, and they began to serve him according to Sri Gosaiji's instructions. When Sri Gosaiji made his 6th trip to Rajnagar, he was visiting one Vaishnava's house, and as he was entering, heard the ringing of a bell. He asked, "Does any other Vaishnava live near here?" The Vaishnava replied, "Yes, that mother and daughter live nearby." Sri Gosaiji said he would like to go and see them. Then he blessed them by going to their home. He asked, "What time is it in your seva?" They informed him that it was the time of the afternoon seva Uttapan. Sri Gosaiji entered the temple and saw that the Lord was eating the millet offerings. He was eating with both hands. When he witnessed this, Sri Gosaiji's heart overflowed with love. He came out of the seva and sat down. He told the mother to go and accept the offering back as Mahaprasad, and that she should bring that prasad to him, that he wished to partake of it. The mother accepted back the offerings as prasad and put this bowl of Uttapan prasad into Sri Gosaiji's hand. Sri Gosaiji addressed the Vaishnava present there at that time. "Are any of you close to these two or have any contact with them?" They all replied that they did not. Sri Gosaiji said, "Then they are truly mine alone." He began to taste the millet grains. The other Vaishnavas pleaded, "O Maharaj, please share some with us." He shared them out amongst them all. Their taste was truly divine. Sri Gosaiji asked the mother, "Now, do you see how your daughter is blessed?" The mother replied, "You have made her so, and so she is." Sri Gosaiji left to return to the previous place he had been visiting, and then back to Bhaila Kotari's house. Sri Gosaiji always and forever graces such Vaishnavas of modest means. Bhav Prakash. The moral of this story is that Vaishnavas should never be without seva. Even if one is the most modest means, one can make seva just like this mother and daughter did. In this way, humility and servitude develop perfectly in the heart and mind. Then the Lord will grace you with his direct experiences. Such Vaishnavas are truly blessed. Thus concludes Varta 195, the story of the mother and daughter who received Sri Gosaiji's great grace and were accomplished Vaishnavas. There is no end to their tale. जय जय श्री राधे। आज के आनंद की जय। सब वैष्णवों को जय श्री कृष्ण। सादर सप्रेम सानंद और सदैन्य जय श्री कृष्ण।